Hey guys, I wanted to hop on today and do a 10-minute makeup tutorial. I've been finding it really difficult to do things quickly in the morning, especially when it comes to makeup. I have no time, and I've come up with some ways to kind of accommodate that and save some time in the morning with my makeup routine. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to keep it down to 10 minutes, so it's going to be a little bit of a longer video as I explain things, but the routine itself takes about 10 minutes. I promise. I've timed it before. It works, and it's really handy when you're in a rush to go somewhere like work or school. So I wanted to show you how I typically put things together in order to save some time in the morning, and then we'll go through the makeup routine. So I just wanted to show you guys how I store my makeup and how I get it ready for the morning in order to be efficient and to save time, because this is really important to me when I'm trying to do my makeup in a hurry. I just got this candle holder from Dollar Tree, and you can store your makeup brushes in it pretty easy. I usually only keep the makeup brushes that I'm going to use. It's usually about 6 of them. We can go through them when we do the tutorial, but I like to have my makeup curler and my makeup brushes ready. Another thing that I got from Walmart that's really helpful, and that's going to assist you when you're organizing your makeup, is this little 3-drawer acrylic organizer. I think it was about $15 Canadian, so it's pretty affordable. I just keep my makeup stored in there. I typically only keep what I'm going to use in here, so it's very basic. I usually pull it from my main collection and just put it in there, because then you know what you're using. There's no question about which products you're gonna pull out or not, so I find that really helpful. Another thing I'll keep handy is a headband and some makeup sponges. Sometimes I'll just put them in this container, or I'll put them in one of these drawers if they're dry. So I like to start out with doing primer and foundation first, and by priming my face, you're going to save yourself time later in the day because you won't have to retouch as much. So I really recommend this for longevity of foundation and that kind of thing. I like the Too Faced Hangover primer. It's a little bit hydrating, so it's really good for combination skin because it doesn't get too greasy or anything like that. And it also has some grippiness to it, so it's gonna kind of make your foundation cling to that and stay longer. The next step I usually like to do is foundation. So I like this Benefit Hello Happy Flawless Brightening Foundation right now. It's pretty new. They have an excellent shade range. It claims to be full coverage. I really don't agree with that. It's more of a medium coverage. I would recommend when you're in a hurry doing light or medium coverage foundations, just because they're a little bit easier to work with. And for a work day, for me, I personally like a lighter look, a more natural look, as opposed to a full glam, full coverage look. I also blend my foundation out first with a brush, and then I go in with a beauty blender on top after, just to make everything kind of seamless and blend together. Alright, so I just start by kind of stippling it over my face. I don't drag and kind of like brush the skin. I kind of like stipple it all in, and that gives you kind of like, it prevents brush strokes, and it also prevents like exfoliating your skin while you're putting on your foundation, so you're not going to get those dry looking patches. Another little tip I recommend is sticking with products that you know are going to work for you. Don't try something for the first time when you're in a hurry, because it can be a disaster. It can mean that you're gonna have to redo everything, and you don't want to deal with that when you only have a couple of minutes. Alright, now that you have everything blended out with a brush, you're gonna take your damp beauty blender and just go over quickly. Dabbing your face with the damp beauty blender, it's just gonna make sure everything's blended nicely and that there's no brush strokes or anything like that. And it's so quick to do this. Alright, so the next step, and the most important for me because I have bags under my eyes and I look tired all the time, is the concealer. So I like to use the E.L.F 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I'm in the shade Fair Warm. It's a little too light for me right now, but that's okay. You usually want to go for 2 shades lighter than your foundation just to brighten the under eye a little bit. But I just apply it in several places under my eye. So I like to blend out my concealer with a small beauty blender like this. And then you just want to dab back and forth. And you really want to get up into kind of your lower lash line. Yeah, this concealer at the moment is way too light for me, but I'll show you a quick fix if this ever happens to you. There is something you can do. I'm not gonna bother fixing it because we're gonna put powder on later. We're gonna make it all blend together. It will look fine. Another thing that you want to do when you're in a hurry, there's no time for eye primer. So take your beauty blender that you're blending the concealer out with and dab it on your eyes. It'll get any of the excess concealer on your eyes, on your eyelids, and act as a primer for later on. But what you can do is take your beauty blender that you use for your foundation and just kind of dab around the area, and it'll help kind of blend in a too light concealer, make it look a little bit more blended in. There, that looks a bit better. Okay, now we're ready to set the face. My recommendation for this is using a setting powder that is pressed instead of loose. Loose setting powders take time. You gotta shake it out. It's just a mess sometimes when you're in a hurry. So I like using this Maybelline Superstay 16-Hour Powder Foundation. It is a powder foundation, so it's gonna add a little bit of coverage to your existing foundation, but it also sets the under the eyes very well. So what you're gonna do is take your highlighting brush. Keep in mind I'm cutting down the amount of brushes I'm using in order to save a little bit of time. So we're multitasking with our brushes today. For this purpose, I like to use the Real Techniques highlighting brush. It's really densely packed and it has that angle. It's like perfect for under the eyes. It's like meant for it. So you're gonna take this powder, tap off the excess, and set the under eye, making sure you're going up into the lower lash line to set all of that concealer. Another thing you can do is set the eyelids, because we put concealer on there as well. Sometimes because I have a bit of a hooded eye, it'll crease a little bit if I don't set it. So that's what I like doing there. Alright, so now that you've set your under eye, you're going to want to set your whole entire face. So take that same powder with a fluffy brush. Any large fluffy brush will do, but I got this one at Winners. So you're just going to want to set the remaining foundation. And this will prevent anything from kind of sliding around. And it'll help your foundation last a little bit longer. Alright, so I'm going to dig into this palette. It's been my favorite for a while now, and I think it's limited edition, but NARS comes out with such excellent palettes all the time. This is the Orgasm Infatuation Cheek Palette. Look at how gorgeous she is. Like, I love it. I use everything in this palette. It's so good. It's going to save you time to use palettes because you're not going to have to open 3 different things. You're not going to have to fumble around to try and find different products. Use one palette for 3 different things, and there's a couple little tips you can use it for other things as well, so stay tuned. So take the same powder brush you used to set your foundation, and we're going to be using that as a bronzer brush. So this is the Laguna bronzer by NARS. Everyone's probably heard of it before. It's super good. It's like a staple in most YouTubers' collections. Not that I'm a big YouTuber, but it's really good because it kind of gives you a warmth, but it also does a little bit of contouring without trying to contour. When you have no time, you cannot contour. There's no time to contour. So using a Laguna bronzer like this, or a shade like this, is going to help you multitask a little bit. So I just like to sweep it on my forehead into my hairline. Avoid the temple area here because you want that area to be lighter, and you're going to sweep across the cheeks up into kind of the top of your ear, the jawline on either side, kind of blend down the neck, and repeat on the other side. Alright, so you can see it kind of gave my face some shape, some definition. It's not just like as flat as it was before. So bronzing is a really important part of a routine. So I recommend doing the bronzing. So the next thing I like to do is blush. So I'm just taking the shade Orgasm in that NARS palette. It's a very popular blush as well, so you can get it in separate pans. I'm just taking a Morphe M104 blush brush, and I'm just sweeping across my cheeks. I love this blush. I love blush. I go overboard sometimes, but I like the look it gives. Just gives like a glowy radiance. Love it. It's hard to go crazy with this blush. You have to almost build it up a little bit. And that's why I like it. It's not like super pigmented, and also has a little bit of shimmer that's gonna give you a little bit of extra radiance. So taking that same highlighter brush that we used to set the under eye, you're just gonna brush off the excess powder, and you're going to dip into a highlighter. So I'm just using the shade in the palette here. And what I like to do and how I like to apply it is in a C shape from kind of the top of my temple to the upper cheekbone. So I'll show you how I do this. I just kind of stroke back and forth in a C shape, and then I go just on the brow bone, and it gives such a pretty like radiance. It's not overpowering, I don't think. It's kind of what I like. You can also like blend it out a little bit with your finger if it is getting to be too much. Oh, I just love this highlighter. It's so pretty. Okay, now you're gonna do two things here with the eyes. You're gonna take a fluffy crease brush, one like the Morphe M104. It's just kind of it's a crease brush. So you're gonna take the bronzer shade that you used and dip your eyeshadow brush in it, and we're gonna actually pretend it's eyeshadow and put it in the crease and blend upwards. This will give your eye a little bit of definition without trying too hard. Like, I don't have time to dip into an eyeshadow palette today, like let's just go. This is another use for your one palette. So far we've got 4 different uses out of this. I'm just going to take a Morphe M433 brush. It's a little bit more densely packed, and I'm going to go in the highlighting shade now, and I'm going to put it in the inner corners of my eye. This is going to help your eyes kind of pop and stay open and highlighted and radiant. So a couple things to kind of make you look more awake, which I need at work all the time. And if you want, you can go in the brow bone again just to add some more highlight. I'm going a little bit overboard with that, but I'm just showing you your different options. So I think I like that. Now I'm going to go into the bronzer shade again with the same brush I used to put that highlight in the inner corner, and I'm just going to go in my lower lash line. This is optional, it's not necessary, but I just like the look it gives. There's no time for eyeliner, so. Alright, so the next thing you need to know is I don't put a lot of effort into my brows when I'm in a hurry. It takes a super long time, and it's very time consuming for me. And if you're the same way of thinking as me, you'll want the Benefit Gimme Brow. It's really popular, and it does a really good job of just kind of lifting my brows and making them stay in place all day. It gives a bit of a tint, and it has some fibers in it. That's gonna give your brows a little bit more volume. I'm kind of blessed. I have pretty good brows, so I don't like to spend a lot of time on them. Alright, now I am just going to curl my eyelashes and apply some mascara. I always have to curl my eyelashes. They go down, they grow like literally downward and look droopy when I don't curl them. So I've been using the Tarte Big Ego mascara because it's actually not too heavy on my lashes. My lashes are really fine and they tend to be weighed down very easily. So I like that mascara because it really holds them up and doesn't weigh them down. So I'm taking the Big Ego mascara. Like, how pretty is this packaging? Can we just take a second? Like, it's so cute. Okay. I love this mascara. It doesn't clump. It's really easy to put on in layers, which I love, and you can build it up. So the next thing I'm doing is just applying a lip liner, and it is in the shade In the Nude, and it's the Essence lip liners. They are the best. I have MAC ones that don't even compare to these. I like to overline my lips a little bit. Alright, so now I'm ready for lipstick, and I'm going to take the shade E.L.F. It's a MAC lipstick. It's so pretty. I've never used this much of one shade before. I'm so proud of that. So it's just a really pretty color, pinky nude. Can't go wrong with that. Last but not least, you need to set your foundation. You need to set your face makeup. This is because it's going to help your foundation and your makeup last all day, and it's going to meld everything into the skin. It's not going to look cakey or powdery. This is going to get rid of it all. So it's like magic. I like using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, and I do it in 2 sprays, one from the top and one from the bottom. Done. So that is the finished look. I just think it helps me be more confident in my day. It kind of gives me that face forward, you know, kind of mentality where I can really be confident when I'm doing at my job or when I'm running errands. It just helps me feel a little bit better. So I hope this tutorial helped you, and hopefully you can find the time in your day to kind of do something for yourself like that. It's really important to take care of ourselves. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye!